Hello, welcome to another video from EarnPed.com. I'm Stevie B. Happy to have you all with me today as I am still working my way through Codex for Summer Migration 2023. Still on my path to unlock quickness at level 55 Evader. Guys, we are almost there. It will probably be in the next video right after this one where I actually unlock quickness, finally. So today I want to make a video I probably should have made way earlier, so let's take a couple of big sips to get us started off right. Got a whole pot of coffee for this. So I want to make this video today for those of you who are currently going through the process of setting up your account and creating your avatar. But this will also answer some very important questions for people in game who just might not have the information but have always kind of wondered this question. Why are there more female avatars in-game than male? Why are so many female avatars controlled by men in real life? And is there a benefit to having a female avatar over a male avatar? Because once you finish the avatar creation process, you're done. It's locked. You're either male or female after that, and you cannot change this later. We do have items and skills in game that allow us to resculpt the shape of our avatar via like a body sculpting unit. We have hair coloring kits and hair kits that let us change the style of our hair, but we do not have a in-game function that will allow us to change from a male avatar to female or from female to male. So it's a very important decision that you need to make before finalizing avatar creation. Now, for those of us who already play the game and who already are well on our way into the Entropia universe, it's too late, but this is still interesting information to have because it can help us play smarter, not harder. So I actually, unfortunately, did not have this information when I created my account. It was not until the end of my 6-month run at Zykion Citadel, where I died about 250,000 times getting defense skills, and was already considerably into my evader journey, that a longtime player approached me and said, "Hey, have you considered re-rolling your account into a female avatar?" And I said, "No, why would I do that?" He said, "Well, there's actually some benefits." So benefit number one is if you go to auction and go to clothing, you will see that there are all kinds of clothing items and accessories in game for female avatars. A good example would be the Guardian Nurse outfit from Planet Arcadia. This is a very popular outfit. The blueprints for it are very expensive if you can find them, and the outfit is quite pricey. There's also a lot of evening gowns. There's a lot of lingerie type items. There are all kinds of clothing items and even accessories that are available for female avatars. Just the other day, I saw a pair of literal like Levi jeans in game for a female avatar, but we don't have a male counterpart for it. In fact, we don't have a male counterpart for a lot of that. Now, personally, I have never been somebody that really was big into in-game fashion and in-game accessories. Between the different effects that items have, the different armors that we have out there, and the different items that we do have that can be used by both male and female avatars, if I did want to create a costume or a get-up, I am more than capable of doing so. In fact, if I zoom in, you can see I've got a little bit of a lightning effect going on here. If I come around here, you can see I've kind of got this cool lightning glow, and that is because I have been using Mind Force chips, specifically electric Mind Force chips. So I can get a pretty cool look just from my squid suit, my ascension armor, and the Mind Force that I'm using. And there's other armor sets that I have that I keep around specifically because of the aesthetics and because I might want to make a costume out of it or a get-up out of it someday. But it's never been a giant piece of my gameplay. Now, I understand that's not true for everybody. For a lot of people, it's a super big part of their gameplay. But there is an even more important reason to consider this male versus female avatar decision. And I already know I'm going to have trouble with the YouTube algorithm on this one. So I'm probably going to call this something like striving for gender equality in Entropia universe or something like that. But historically, and Mindark has done an amazing job at rectifying this problem in recent years. Probably over the past 5 years, this has really become kind of a non-issue. But historically, female armor was much easier to get. Male armor was much harder to find. female armor was much cheaper and male armor was much more expensive. And unfortunately, this became a self-defeating cycle. So let me explain why. Now, let's not talk about the armor that you loot out of the loot pool. Okay, let's forget about that altogether for a minute, because like I said, Mindark has done a tremendous job in fixing this discrepancy. But if we take away the armor in the loot pool, typically you get things, if you have the choice, that benefit your avatar. So recent example is, because we're in the middle of the Twin event, they recently created these 20th anniversary jackets. So here I've got a 20th anniversary jacket male, and I've got a 20th anniversary jacket female. And as we can see, they actually are slightly different. They're pretty close to the same, but they're slightly different. Now, these were looted items, and I ended up looting roughly the same number of male as I did female. But we're not talking just about looted items. When you have the option to create or redeem an item, you're going to want the version that you're able to use. It is very odd for a female avatar to willingly redeem male items they can't use, unless they plan on selling them right out the gate. In the same vein, it's very weird for a male avatar to redeem female items it cannot use unless they plan to sell them right away. And this led to a downward spiral that just compounded the problem. So the best example I can give you is Earth Shocker armor. It's a very sought after armor. It's limited in nature, meaning it cannot be repaired. And when you have all 7 pieces, it gives you this great increased critical damage buff. Well, Earth Shocker armor was originally available from the combat token trader. You would take your combat tokens and you could trade it in for armor pieces and collect an entire 7-piece kit. Mindark eventually took this armor out of the combat token trader. You could no longer take your combat tokens and get new pieces. And that means that whatever sets are currently in game are the only sets that will ever be in game. It also means that because these items are limited and cannot be repaired, as they decay out, there will be fewer and fewer sets, which will make them more and more sought after and more valuable. Now, it's hard to find Earthshocker armor, whether you're looking for a male set or a female set. It's just harder to find a male set. You can find female sets for sale fairly often, but you have to look a little bit to find the male sets most of the time. Typically, if you're looking for a female set, you're going to be looking at 1800 to 2000% markup, which is 18 to 20 times face value. And generally speaking, even though there are exceptions to the rule, a lot of times here in recent months, the male sets have been going for about 1800 to 2200% markup, which is 18 to 22% face value. Now, either way, it's a sought after, hard to find armor. The male version is just a little harder to find. And either way, it's an expensive armor to get your hands on. The male version just tends to be a little bit more expensive. So there's just a hair of a premium. We're not talking one is massively cheap and one is massively expensive. They're both massively expensive. One is just slightly more costly than the other, which is why Mindark has done such a great job at fixing this issue lately. Now, why is this true with Earthshocker? Well, because the pieces were redeemed from a token trader. So generally speaking, female avatars got female armor pieces. That way they could use it. Generally speaking, male players with male avatars got male pieces that they could use. So because of this, and because there were already more female avatars than male avatars, you ended up with more female Earthshocker armor being pulled out of the token trader, and a lot less male armor being pulled out of the token trader, which just started compounding the problem. We see this with crafting also. Let's say you could craft a set of armor. Are you going to craft armor that your avatar can use, or are you going to willingly craft armor that your avatar cannot use? Because generally speaking, when you're crafting armor, you can pick, would you like a male version or a female version? Well, generally speaking, you're going to craft the version you can use. That would only make sense, right? So as a result, what do you think gets crafted more? That's right, generally speaking, there's more female armor that is crafted because the players want to be able to use it. Now again, the exception to the rule, if you're knowingly crafting armor, and you can pick male or female, and you know that that armor is much harder to find if the part is male, and therefore is much more expensive, you might craft the male armor part even if you cannot use it simply to sell it. But from a utility standpoint, generally speaking, female avatars either pull out of token traders or create female items. Male avatars either pull out a token trader or create male items. And we see this now with the Mayhem token trader. You can get unlimited Mayhem armor pieces. Even though you can't get a full set, you can get a few select pieces from the Mayhem token vendor. Well, if you're a female avatar, you're probably going to pull a female item. If you're a male avatar, you're probably going to pull a male item. This just makes sense. And if there's more female players in game, then you're probably going to end up with more female armor parts in game, which means more supply, which means, generally speaking, less price. Now, the converse can be true. There are some select instances, and I mean select instances, where the male armor part can actually be cheaper because there's not as many male avatars. Because of that, there's more supply, less demand, therefore there is a lower price. However, that is the exception, not the rule. Now, over the past 5 years, ever since I very first had this conversation with this player, I've been very thankful that I did not re-roll my avatar. I've been very thankful that after putting in all that effort at Zykion, I just kept going. And I do have to give Mindark a ton of credit. They have done a tremendous job over the past 5 or so years in making this much less of an issue. And in fact, the best example I can give you for how good of a job Mindark has done is there is one confirmed case that I know of where a player actually somehow managed to switch from a female avatar to a male avatar. Now, I don't think it was unethical. I don't know the specifics of how this was done or why this was done. My assumption has always been, because I don't know the facts, that the player simply wanted to go from a female avatar to a male avatar. This is a person who Mindark thinks very highly of and does a lot of promotion and really is a great example for the rest of us players. And this is somebody that has enough money that I could see them offering Mindark a price Mindark absolutely could not refuse. And I mean, okay, obviously if you were to be offered thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars just to switch it from a female avatar to a male avatar, wouldn't you? I would. So I don't know how it all happened. I don't know if the player had to pay a fee or not, but I know for a fact that there is one player, bare minimum, who I know for a fact had a female avatar for a very long time. And then all of a sudden, one day, they had a male avatar all of a sudden. And this was not a new account. This is a very high level, very recognizable player. Most of you probably actually know who I'm talking about, even though I'm not going to drop the name. Because again, this isn't something I'm upset about. I don't think it was unethical. I don't think it's a problem for the game. If anything, I think it would be cool for Mindark to someday implement a feature that if the player was willing to pay a fee, they would have a one-time option to switch from male to female or from vice versa. You know, I think that would be a great option for Mindark to include. So if somebody got into the game and decided, man, you know, I signed up as a male avatar, I'm really into fashion accessories and there's so much more available for females, I would be willing to pay this fee. I think it would be just another revenue stream for Mindark, and I think it would be not a bad option to give players, since most people do not spend, admittedly, enough time on avatar creation. So I know for a fact it has happened once. However, that's the exception, not the rule. It's the one and only time I know that it's happened. But I wanted to bring it to y'all's attention because if you're creating your account in 2023, these are things you might want to take into consideration. Like I said, it is a much smaller problem now than it has been in the future. In the past. And moving forward in the future, I think it's going to be even less of a problem. Now, if you're talking about the rarest armors in game, if you're talking about the most valuable armors in game, if you're talking about Mod Shadow, Shadow, Angel, Titan, stuff like that, I could see how you say, well, this might still be an issue. I'm not talking about the rarest of the rare, the most valuable of the most valuable. I'm talking on a day-to-day basis for your average casual player, or even on a day-to-day basis for your hardcore grinder who doesn't want to be one of the top 5 players in the game. For your average player, I think it's practically a non-issue now. The hard-to-find armors are hard to find regardless of which version you go after. The male just tends to be a little bit harder to find. They're going to be pricey either way. There's just going to be a small premium, generally speaking, for the male version. So it's really not that big of a deal. The bigger deal, I honestly think, is how much are you interested in being able to accessorize and deal with in-game fashion. If that is a huge thing for you, if you're somebody who is massively into in-game fashion and in-game expression via costumes and clothes and stuff like that, then this is going to be a situation where you're going to want to have a female avatar for sure. However, short of that, I really don't think it's as big of a deal as used to be, but there's so many female avatars in game that every now and then somebody will ask me, like, why are there so many female avatars? Because I've got so many friends that are guys with female avatars, and it's generally because historically this was a much bigger issue than it is today. And I do have to give Mindark a lot of credit for helping to rebalance that system, for helping to take care of these types of issues, because these are the type of issues that are generally not super high on the priority list, and that oftentimes will not even be addressed for years on end. So I'm glad that Mindark has made it less of an issue, because that helps me out tremendously since I do have a male avatar. So I will leave it there for today. We've got a lot coming for you guys. I've got some big changes in real life that are awesome in a lot of ways. Still got a lot of stuff that I'm dealing with, but we're slowly getting there, hoping things are going to continue to progressively get better as we go. I'm working on playlists for each of the planet partners. I'm doing a ton of research for those playlists. I'm working on a new player guide that will help players of all experience levels, whether you're just starting out in Entropia and haven't even made your account yet, or whether you're an experienced vet in the game. So I really think these new playlists that I'm working on are going to go gangbusters and be massive game changers for a lot of people. I'm very, very excited about that. But today, I'm going to leave it there. Sip, sip, smack, smack. Y'all know the rest. Head over to earnped.com, because when you earn, we earn. It's by far the best way you guys can help to support us. Simply use the links on earnped.com to go to hideout.tv. Hideout will add earnped as a redemption option for your hideout points. No additional effort needed on your part. Guys, you might have noticed there is a new banner at the bottom of the screen reminding you guys to subscribe, hit the bell icon, and like the video. And this is important for multiple reasons. A, yes, it keeps you guys up to date when we post new content. That way you guys never miss out. And yes, it helps us combat the trolls and the haters that are out there, and we greatly, greatly appreciate that. But even more important, when you guys will hit all three of those buttons, YouTube gives our videos more exposure. And they put our videos in front of people who are already interested in PC gaming, MMOs, and real cash economy gaming. And many times, this is the first time the person has ever heard of Entropia Universe. Well, they start watching the videos, they start watching the channel, they learn how to play smarter, not harder, and the next thing you know, they're downloading the game, they're going through avatar creation, they're at Camp Icarus, they're then at Twin Peaks and North Swamp Camp, and going out into space. These people become part of the game, the community, and the economy. These are going to be friends, society mates, and people you're going to be doing trades with. And we're getting more and more emails every single week saying, man, thank you for putting this content out here. This is the very first time I've ever heard of this game, and now it's my hobby. Now it's my passion. Now it's the thing I want to share with my friends and family. And we know you guys don't get to see those messages, but we want to pass it on to you guys, because you guys are making it happen. You guys are making the difference that is getting that kind of exposure. And you are making that difference by hitting these buttons. So guys, please hit the subscribe button and the bell icon, since you only have to hit them one time. And hit that like button on every single video, because you guys are having a tremendous, tremendous impact on the game, the community, and the economy, and on us and on the channel. And we greatly, greatly appreciate that. So please keep it up, guys. Till next time, sip, sip, smack, smack. Y'all know the rest. Take care, Stevies.